Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new, and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel as well, which is where you are. This is the All Star Wrestling Review Series for the 15th of April 1978, and we are a couple months into the Bob Backlund reign, maybe a little less than that. Also, about a year away, maybe a little less than that, away from the invention of the Intercontinental Championship, which happens in 1979. So that'll be fun to also watch a little bit of the development of a secondary championship in a singles ranks. It's kind of just interesting that. It's now seen as a bit of a joke, but at the time it was a big deal there. Certainly, as we kind of move forward into that run, we get good thing there. So, obviously, hosted by Vince McMahon here, tag team champions Dino Bravo and Dominic DeNucci, who had become the champions in the about a month before that, which is an interesting combination. Bravo and DeNucci, certainly an interesting run there, defeating Johnny Roz and Jose Estrada 629 when when DeNucci pins Estrada following an airplane spin. Airplane spins were finishes back in the 70s, which is odd now. You barely see them, and people pop for them when Cesaro does them. Anyway, so Rod's a major guy here, and of course Bravo new in the area, getting the rub from DeNucci, who'd been around for a considerable length of time, and kind of trying to go up underneath on Bravo. Bravo getting shot with a couple of shots to the midsection. Basic stuff, basic wrestling, but at the same time, DeNucci trying to shrug his man off. We're into head control and other kickoffs by DeNucci. DeNucci not wasting a bunch of time. Also, bigger guy, easily 6'6", if not more than that, legitimately. And Bravo getting the tag team championship with him at the time had to be a good rub. DeNucci does a lot of standing on the guy's wrist, using his power, using his leverage. Also, the heels eventually break DeNucci down in the corner, trying to get advantages there, stomping from the top rope onto his rib cage as well as his arm and shoulder, and the heels try to take control during the midpoint of the match. Do not get everything they want out of the process, but eventually the airplane spin by DeNucci gets them the victory, and then we move to another match in the series here, and this is a Spiros Arion with Freddie Blassie defeating Dennis Johnson via submission via overhead backbreaker 421. Blassie joins Vince on commentary, upset that Bob Backlund had chosen Arnold Skaaland to be his manager over Blassie, and and obviously there is a promise that Arion will be the champion from Blassie in a post-match interview here. Arion does go into a multi-level program with Backlund throughout. Arion takes his man down to the canvas. Blassie's yellowish canary jacket with some sparkles, orange yellow maybe, kind of a citrusy color, and certainly orange pants. So more orange, but depending on your color and the color fade on the program, I could see where some people would say yellowish orange. Anyway, Arion manages to take his man back, leaning back over the ringside area, also trying to get as many submissions as he can. Manages to take him up for a suplex and then the modified backbreaker and a win by Arion. And Freddie Blassie basically says this is his champion. This is the man that he will take to the championship. Blassie says this is the only championship in wrestling that he hasn't held. Bit of an overstatement there, but who knows? Anyway. So Blassie is getting Arion ready for that appointment as the world champion, which unfortunately for him doesn't come to be, but he does eventually, as we all know, manage a world champion in the future. And then we move on to Peter Maivia and S.D. Jones fighting Stan Stasiak with the Grand Wizard and Butcher Vassan to a time limit draw, 10 minutes in length. Not necessarily sure that this match needed to be 10 minutes. Not necessarily sure this match needed to happen. S.D. Jones gets a bit of a rub from being alongside alongside Maivia. the team role for Butcher Vachon is probably a good role for him here. He's shorter than the average um, individual that Vincent J. McMahon would utilize for the most part during the time period. Obviously, Maivia has a good bit of babyface cachet throughout, and ultimately, some choking and basic stuff. Maivia does the majority of the selling and actually gets banged into the steps on the outside of the ring, among other things. Maivia basically does take the majority of punishment throughout, and eventually Jones comes in and gets goozled for a minute. Back and forth, lots of fighting. Midpoint in the match, I would say that for the most part, the match itself is more brawling than wrestling, with all four guys in there being more towards the brawlers nature. Of course, this match is probably taken to a time limit draw partially because you could take it around the loop to the arenas and get something out of it at the arenas to get a climactic finish, which I don't think a lot of people do. The underuse of time limit draws and time limits as a concept is a bit of an annoyance, at least to me in these days. Then we move on to the next in the foray of matches here, and that is Ken Patera with Captain Lou Albano defeat Ted Adams and Mike Mardo in a handicap match. 5:56 when Mardo submits to the full Nelson during the bout. Albano joins McMahon on commentary, upset that Bob Backlund had chosen Arnold Skaaland to be his manager over him. Obviously, both heel managers upset that they have been embarrassed by Bob Backlund standing them up. Interesting that I would have liked to have seen the interview or the story behind Backlund choosing Skaaland. I don't know that Skaaland at the time had a lot of cachet with the WWF fans at the time that he was chosen as Backlund's manager. But anyway, hard shots and body slams by Patera, and then we kind of see, some go-rounds and basic stuff there. Patera managing to stall a little bit upon occasion, but does end up getting the backbreaker and the full Nelson, eventually getting the victory. Lou Albano, obviously, and that swinging full Nelson is a major force for Patera throughout, actually, in a lot of highlight videos over the years. Then we move to the, final match of the day here, which forays into Strong Kabayashi with Fred Blassie defeating Frank Rodriguez in 53 seconds with a suplex. Unfortunately, for those watching really closely at home, the 3 count actually amounts as a 2 count, and the referee botches the finish there a little bit, and that ends us off. But in any event, Blassie has another charge, this time an international charge, and there we go. We'll be back with more right after this.